trying to get crazy with this scene. Don't you know I'm loco?
I've had no political aspirations my whole life, and I never wanted to do something like this. It wasn't until I got here. I had done the thing for the U.S. overseas, came back home, and decided to really focus on not just those problems overseas, the issues with the terrorists in China and North Korea and all that, but to come back here and then really fix my community locally.
What's happening, everybody? This is Bobby Ruiz, aka Bobby Tribal, and once again, it's time for.
Okay, I was waiting for you to dive in and say that. So, the Lower Left podcast. Sorry about that, but last time, remember the mic had an issue. Still kind of does. I don't know if you can tell, but
yeah. And special shout out to our weirdo DE for messing up the board that we bought. It's been nothing but problems, and hopefully we get that worked out.
Yeah, we were trying to get up to, up in the game as far as podcasts and have some legit hardware, but it didn't work out.
Yeah, we'll just keep it real for now and do it on. What are we doing it on?
GarageBand.
Yeah, GarageBand. It works.
Yeah.
But we've been busy. We've been consistent. We've done this, I think, 3 weeks in a row now.
Correct.
Huh? Yeah. And by the time you hear this one, you would have already heard DJ Muggs, Obed Padilla, Roger Gassman, and yeah.
And the one we dropped on Monday.
Which was Obed.
Obed,
yeah. But today's podcast, it hits real close to home being here on 17th and Island at the Lower Left. If you've been to the building, you know that we're a huge community here. The community exists of Slappy's Garage, about 15 tattooers, the Lower Left store, the music studio, what we do with the cars, and then of course Tribal and this podcast room and just everything. It's definitely a hub of talent and culture, and we've been in this building now for about I believe it's 12 years, 13 years almost. And ever since we acquired the building, there's been a huge issue here. And if you've been to the building, you know that we've struggled heavily with homeless people, with tents along the bridge on Island, with not just, tents, homeless people, drug use, people being loaded, just everything that comes along with, mental health issues, just everything that comes along with homelessness. Not just the Island Street Bridge, but on Market Street, and then over on J Street. It's been a struggle. I've done personally, I've written letters all the way up to Sacramento. I've written the mayor's office several times. I've written. I work with the people at Clean and Safe, and shout out to them because they're great and they've helped out as much as they can. But occasionally, they get maxed out and their hands are tied in certain situations, and they can only do so much. The East Village Association, San Diego Police Department, and just we do as much as we can here in the building as well. So we made some progress, and it's gotten good, and it's gotten bad, and it's gotten good. And then this last time, when the city of San Diego just started really mobilizing or moving people, and they moved a lot of people off of the commercial street area where it was really bad. The worst of it, I think, was down there. And a lot of those people, which was a different type of homeless person, the people that we had up here on Island, they were a little bit, they was dirty and filthy, and there were drunks and people on drugs and, mental health issues and all of that. But they were kind of a kinder homeless people, not super gangster or hard, but once they cleared off the people down there, a lot of them moved up here onto this bridge on Island, and it got real aggressive. It got really, it would get violent, and it wasn't the same type of homeless person. And there goes all my letters again, and phone calls and emails, and I'm trying to do as much as I can to bring attention to the problem. And my question, I would question, like, why is not just our business, but our neighbors here, why are we insignificant? Why is this allowed in our neighborhood and it's not allowed in other more affluent neighborhoods? Why is it that our customers and our employees or people that work in the building or these kids that live in the neighborhood have to deal with this, and they don't have to deal with it in other areas? Blah, blah, blah. So I've, it was heavy. It would consume a good portion of my day sometimes, just writing letters and making phone calls and hitting dead ends left and right for the most part. Like I said, the people shout out to Alonzo at Clean and Safe. He's kind of my go-to guy, man. That's the guy who really has our back too. And then this dude, our guest today, walks into the building, and he didn't write me an email. He didn't call me. He walked in, and they're like, guys say there's a guy here to talk to you. But it wasn't until this guy came in that there was some real change down here. And if you've been to the building lately, within the last maybe couple months, it's been about 2 months, right? Yeah, 2 months. You can see that the bridge is completely clear. Our customers can park on the bridge. People that work in the building can park on the bridge. People can walk on the sidewalk. The children from the neighborhood could walk on the sidewalk. It's become, a livable. It's the neighborhood has improved, so much. Not just this, but around us. But we've become friends. And we've had a lot of really cool, serious conversations. I've got to know him pretty well, and I've learned just recently that he's running for mayor of San Diego, and it's I basically told him, like, you've had our back, we'll have yours, and I'm going to provide as much as we can, as well as this platform to talk about it. But his name, and don't forget this, because you gotta support this dude. His name's Larry Turner. What's happening?
It is a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah, it's good to have you. And like I said earlier, he's actually, introducing him to the homies in the building and stuff. I'm like, Larry did this, and he's like, no. He's very quick to say that he was part of a team that got everything done. And that it wasn't just him, and which is, obviously it takes a whole, bunch of people to get these things done. But, he's humble in that. And I'm going to go ahead and say it's like he was at the forefront. Let's say that. We buy that?
Okay.
Buy that, because nothing was happening until, like I said, he walked into the door and made it happen. But I'll tell you something else about this guy. They're not just out there moving the homeless people around. Larry walks into tents. Larry sits there, approaches people, talks to people. He knows a lot of these homeless individuals on a first name basis. He has the support of, I think, most of, if not all of, the homeless advocates. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Probably most of them. Yeah,
most of them that have his back as well, just because of what he's doing. He does have experience. He has what Johnny knows these numbers.
Yeah. What's going on? The Alzheimer's there?
Yeah. No, I don't remember. So military,
23 years serving the country, 8 years with San Diego Police.
Yes.
From what I gather, and from what Bobby has told me, done a great job. I mean, it's only obvious. Today I actually parked on the bridge. Prior to it being cleared out, I wouldn't park there. Even, me being me, I can't imagine. Yeah, they'll get all intimidated when I park and get out.
Yeah.
And, part like the Red Sea. But it was actually, I felt comfortable actually walking on the sidewalk. Cool. Because, usually it's filthy, dirty. Even when before it would get cleared out, the sidewalk was still like, I don't know about that. I don't want to track that, anywhere else. But it's a big change, big difference, including the porta potties across the street. An incident, I don't know if you remember, but it was a Black Friday some years back. Where we saw a gentleman, a homeless person, hit another homeless person with a hammer in the head, like right in front of us.
Yeah,
and
right
there's
here.
kids, there's families
Families,
here, and it's unfortunate that whatever decisions they made in their life put them in that place.
Yeah.
But there needs to be something where there's a medium for all the citizens of San Diego.
Yeah, right on. I mean, go figure. Having a sidewalk to walk on. That's the compliment.
Yeah, yeah, and I think and we're gonna get to them, but I think it's people are frustrated, and people. This is a beautiful city,
Yeah.
and here being a primarily ethnic owned business, like I've turned to everybody that I could possibly think of for help. I've turned, I pushed every possible button that I could push. Like I said, all the way up to Sacramento, and I'd get form letters. But I think a large part of the problem is the leadership.
Yeah.
The current mayor and his lack of communication, not just with, dude, this guy knows business owners in the community. Like he knows like my son Isaac, like he knows everybody. He'll walk down, he knows the guys that own the little coffee shops and the little bars and the breweries and the restaurants. And he is a true person of the community, all the way down to going into these tents. And he's got the credentials to do this. I think he's got the credentials. He has the experience with people, the experience obviously in the police department and as a U.S. Marine. And where'd you go as a Marine?
Oh God, where didn't I go?
Yeah.
I was everywhere. It's 23 years. Grew up around here, all over California, and 23 years. Spent a lot of it on the East Coast. Went over to Europe. Went to the Middle East. Stationed over in Asia for a while, Hawaii, all over the place.
Yeah. And did you see combat anywhere? Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was over in Iraq and Afghanistan. Participated in a couple other operations too.
Oh, we missed it. Did you say he was a member of the SWAT team too?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
San Diego
Yeah.
police.
That was fun.
I'm gonna say cojones.
Well,
And that's what the city needs, I think, and that's what we need. But again, not pushing people around, not and that's the thing about Larry is having respect, not just for the homeless people and their needs, but also for the businesses and the families and the city of San Diego. And from what I understand, or you can talk about this, is like, what are your political aspirations? Like,
Yeah, to be mayor. That's it.
that's it, right?
I've had no political aspirations my whole life, and I never wanted to do something like this. It wasn't until I got here. I had done the thing for the U.S. overseas, came back home, and decided to really focus on not just those problems overseas, the issues with the terrorists in China and North Korea and all that, but to come back here and then really fix my community locally. So came back here to just honestly get involved in the homeless issue, and I had a big place in my heart for the homeless vets, and had a couple ideas for some nonprofit work to do with the veterans that are suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And arrived back in San Diego, and I looked around. I saw there's a lot of other organizations already out there trying to help the homeless,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, well, maybe I'll find a way to dovetail in with what already exists. Maybe there's one that's already doing a good job, and I can just work for them. It's not that I really needed to be in charge of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a friend of mine said, well, why don't you join the police department for a little while first, just to get reintroduction to the city. And I thought, it'd be kind of interesting to be a
And
cop.
that was, how old were you when you became a cop?
45.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the old guy.
Yeah.
But I tried to stay in shape my whole life.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny because I was probably in better shape than most of the people there at the police academy when I
Yeah,
met all
probably
the
still are.
youngsters. But I had no intention of staying on the police department this long or being a career cop or anything. I was going to do it for a couple of years and move on. But that chance to be on the SWAT team came up, and I'm a sucker for challenges like that. I like to run some races and that sort of thing. So I was going to be the oldest guy to have gone through the SWAT academy. I was 48, and
How'd that go?
it was very sore. It was a lot of.
So you were the oldest
I
guy
would.
to ever go through the SWAT academy.
Yeah. There's this stud I know who's retired from the Marine Corps, the sergeant major from Pendleton, who we have some mutual friends, and he is amazing, and he's going to try to break my record. So God bless him. I hope he does. But
competition.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, he'll be 50 something when he does it. But
So this is quite a challenge, though.
It was.
This next race.
Oh,
this,
yeah. I mean, it's a challenge to win. You know, people I think who haven't had really big challenges in life, you know, they look at this as like this is this insurmountable challenge. You know, running for a political office.
Yeah.
And you know, it's a very strong challenge to win and to do it right. But the work, you know, I'm used to doing that. I work 7 days a week, and I work long days every day, just like my grandparents and everybody else. You know, you know, people that work 3 jobs, you know, just to try to put the food on the table and pay rent. It's I'm just used to working hard. So now that I don't work for the police department every day, you know, I'm still working hard, trying to get out there and make a difference in the community. And then when I have days off or time off, I'm out doing stuff to try to meet with different groups, hear from them, see what their issues are. I'm learning a lot about parts of the city that are outside the downtown area. Yeah, a lot of concerns out there that I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't aware of some of the issues that are going on out there. So I'm meeting with some amazing people and learning a lot about what their challenges are. But almost everybody, it's homeless and crime and cost of living.
When we think of city, we think of like downtown,
Yeah.
but the city boundaries extend all the way to like Rancho Bernardo, correct?
Yeah, it's a goofy looking map when you look at it, right? Yeah. It's like this amoeba, and then it's got this long one all the way up to the safari park. We own that.
Yeah.
And then we're detached from San Ysidro, but you know, that's San Diego too. So it's a goofy looking map that goes into some places where, you know, they don't necessarily have the same problems in every neighborhood. And this downtown problem, if you don't live down here or work down here, you know, you can get fooled by some of the pictures that the press or the political people want to show you of
Absolutely.
the progress they're making. You mentioned Commercial Street. Man, you know, we moved, I think it was 700 or 800 people out of that neighborhood over a couple-day period. And they had crews come in to pressure wash immediately after they moved. All the dump trucks take the garbage. And then some graffiti artists to come in and beautify the damaged up fences and walls and all that. It looked great. You know, go take pictures of it, show before and after. And all the people up in La Jolla or wherever, you know, they're going to think, wow, the city's really doing a great job on homelessness. But then, as you said, they moved up here a few blocks and they were on the bridges and making little kids walk in the street, almost getting hit by a car. The video you took of that veteran in his wheelchair almost getting hit by a car because he couldn't go on the sidewalk. Yeah, it wasn't solving anything. But if you're not down here to see it, you could believe the picture.
That's a great point. Is, you know, people have a lot to say about the homeless issue, and a lot of people don't encounter it daily or don't live amongst it or don't see it that often. From my window in my office, I've seen it every day for the past 11, 12 years. Not the last couple months though, not as much. Very rarely have I seen it, and I understand by all means that it is a challenge to keep this area what it is today. As far as how nice it is and how clean it is and how it's become. But I understand that that's not a forever thing, and there needs to be a lot of action to maintain that, and there needs to be places for these people to go, and there needs to be an understanding. But what I'm saying is, I guess, is people have a lot to say, but they don't really know. They don't see it. I mean, I've and people that listen to this podcast knows that I have like this whole categories of different types of homeless people that I see. I'm not out there opening tents and talking to these people a lot. We've befriended some people and we've seen some people and we do talk to some people, but Larry gets in there. Like, what are you seeing? Like, what types of people, and homelessness being the primary issue that's on probably the top of the pile for San Diego, and to be a mayor. Say it, Johnny.
I can't say it. Mayoral. I can't say rural.
Mayoral candidate. Yeah. And that's the primary issue. Who are these people? Like, just because you are one that, I mean, I have friends that have been homeless like you do. Yeah. They're not homeless anymore, but mostly drug addicts, convicts, people that have come out of jail and find themselves, on the streets. But what are you seeing as, maybe if you could, like most homeless people are followed by? What do you see?
Yeah, it's really hard to do that. I can't answer a question like that. It's they're just as different as the three of us sitting here. Everybody you meet is as an individual, and until you look at them like that, you're never going to solve the problem. So they've all come through different things. We've all gone through hard things in life, and probably most of us have a lot of forks in the road where if you look back in time, you know, if you would have made that left turn instead of that right turn, you would have gone to that party, you would have gone with those guys in that car. You know, life would have been very different than it is now. And these guys, a lot of them made the wrong turns, multiple turns, you know. So they've got their own stories, they've got their own loved ones and relationships and different types of addiction problems, mental health problems, goals, aspirations. I mean, just like anybody else, just like talking to any San Diegan, but they're out on the street.
I think that's a issue with any group, right? Is people try to paint a group of people in this broad stroke. And we've seen it as guys with lowriders, you know, we get looked at a certain way.
Yeah, because you guys are all the same.
Yeah, like police officers get painted the same way. When we're all people, we're all humans. We all have individual lives, beliefs, and all that. And it's probably, well, it is the same with the homeless.
Yeah, it is. So I just look at them like San Diegans, and I don't even care where they came from, you know. So we got people that come from all over the U.S. out here. I just met a guy like 2 blocks from here yesterday, and he just got off the bus a couple weeks ago. So, you know, they're from wherever, and we can't haggle about how long they've been here and what makes them there are people now. So you know, we got to tackle each of their individual problems. So if I had to lump them all into 3 categories, the way I do it is I talk about the have-nots and the can-nots and the will-nots. And the have-nots are the people that, for whatever reason, they couldn't make rent, lost their jobs, whatever kind of happened to them that put them out on the street. And they're kind of the easiest ones to help. You know, they need a little bit of a helping hand. Those that talk about housing first, they think that that's a cure for everybody. These people it might be for, you know, they just recently been on the street. They haven't really been institutionalized to the street yet. They're still able to quickly get off the street with a little bit of, you know, some training on life experience type stuff with checking accounts, you know, do a budget better. And maybe they do get a little bit extra money to kind of help them out. We save a ton of money by, you know, just giving them a little bit of money to keep them in a place, you know, and some training, maybe help them get a better job, you know, whatever it might be, help them with some daycare so they can, you know, work a few more hours. That's what it is. So those are the easiest ones to fix. And then the can-nots, you know, that's everything from a bad injury to, I mean, you see a lot of wheelchairs out there, to the addiction problems, to the mental health problems. So they definitely need that helping hand. They need and it's going to have to be, for most of them, it's going to be, they've got to do it. We're going to make them do it. It's tough love. You know, it's compassion and, you know, common sense. They got to get some help. We're not going to let them just stay out there and linger in that kind of lifestyle. It's bad for them. They're victims of crime, and we got to help them. And then there's the will-nots.
And part of that, real quick, is, and I talked to Bobby about this, is enabling people to do certain things, just like in our own homes. We enable our kids a certain way, they're going to keep doing it. But if we're you know, enabling certain people, they're just going to keep, you know, ending up where they're going to end up.
So a lot of them, I mean, it sounds horrible. Like you think, well, no, nobody would really want this lifestyle. But if you are you know, an opioid addict, and you can live in a city where the police aren't really enforcing the drug use laws, and the drugs are cheap, and there's places like Father Joe's where you can go get the food and clothes and haircut and shower, and you know, there's some state funds that can help you out, and a drug dealer that's 100 yards away from your tent. You know, that is a very comfortable situation for that addict. And like you said, it's enabling it by not enforcing some of the laws that make it easy. So those people need that helping hand, whether they want it or not. So those can-nots, we need to help them get off the street. And then the will-nots, I always talk about that criminal element that's amongst the homeless. I don't consider most of the homeless criminals. I mean, are they committing a crime technically, you know, by encroaching on the sidewalk or illegal lodging or you know, those homeless related crimes? Sure, right? But that's not being a criminal. You know, they're breaking a rule because they have no place to stay. So for the will-nots, that's that criminal element that hides amongst the decent people that are out there that are homeless and need the help. And there's a lot of them out there. I mean, you all probably seen, you know, you talk about the guy hitting somebody with a hammer out there. You know, we'll drive by and there's somebody bleeding, and you try to help them. They don't want to talk to you because they don't want to get any kind of retribution. I'll still stop and make them get in an ambulance, you know, get taken care of, even if I don't take a crime report for it. But yeah, we got to find those people that are amongst them. And I don't know what that number is. You know, estimate from being on the street is there's like a good 15% of them that are the drug dealers, the sexual assault folks, the folks trying to stab people, and rob them. And as soon as we can get the majority of the homeless off the street, get them into shelters and get them into making their lives better, leading them to that place where they can live a happy, productive life, it exposes those criminals that are out there, because they're not going to want that help. They're going to stay out there. And when they have less people to prey on and less people to sell to, they're going to move on. Hopefully we can arrest them, but they're going to probably move on to another city that doesn't care like the way we care. We're going to try to make our streets safe, bring dignity back to them. And in doing so, these guys are going to move on to another city where it's a little bit easier.
Do you have a plan, a wish list, a method that you're going to try, like an idea of how you're going to approach this? Yeah,
sure. Well, first and foremost is more shelter beds. That's giving them a safe place to sleep that's not on the sidewalk. Just human dignity. Give them a spot. It does not cost that much money. When people hear about costs for beds, they're usually hearing the housing first folks that are buying these Motel 6s and converting them for $600,000 plus, a piece for a small Motel 6 room, right, to put a person in. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, any kind of a tents or a warehouse with the bunk beds in there. I'm talking just anything that's better than where they're at now is going to improve the situation. It's for a number of reasons. Let's just talk about the people, though. So my big move is to try to get them wraparound services. Okay, so that's everything: the medical, the mental health, the drug treatment, the life skills training, all of that. So it starts with a triage. And like I mentioned, everybody I talk to out there is a different person, right? They all got different, unique, problems and goals. And so each of these people gets to sit down with a trained counselor, social worker, for at least a couple hours. Really get to know that person, and then we put them into the right program. So it's not just putting them where the program that has the right bed, or it has a bed, if we can find one, where there's a shortage, but the one that has the right type of program, one that's a little bit more geared toward alcoholism. Maybe one of them, somebody is religious and there's a religious-based one. We're not going to try to put, an atheist in one that's religious-based, but try to put that right shoe on that right foot to get them into a place where, are they going to not do well sometimes? Sure. Anybody who's been on a diet, anyone who's trying to quit smoking or drinking, chewing, it takes them multiple times, to try and try. So these guys guys and gals are gonna, fall out of some of these programs. That's a given. We're ready for them. It's no 3 strikes and you're out. You can get 20 strikes. We're gonna keep getting them into these programs until they find the one that works, and that one, however many times it takes to where they finally want to change their life. So some of them are gonna want to leave the city. They're not gonna like this tough love. But the ones that stay, they're gonna see, some life-changing effects, and I'm really excited about seeing those lives we're going to change out there on the street. That's the biggest part of it.
How difficult will it be to set up these shelters?
It's not. Yeah. I already work with this one group that it's interesting. A lot of very wealthy people out there want to help with this problem, and they want to write the checks. It would not cost the taxpayers much money to build the shelters. I've met people with insane amounts of money. It's funny because you wouldn't even recognize them. You think they're going to show up looking like the Monopoly guy, right? with the Rolls Royce, and they're just regular guys in t-shirts and jeans, and they write the $10-20 million checks. So I know a lot of them are ready to do that sort of thing. This one program in particular that I'm part of, all they're looking for is some land on which to build this. They don't want the land given to them. They just want some land to be able to borrow for a few years to build these tents and wraparound services and places to park the RVs and cars for those that like to live in their trailer or motorhome or car. But just a good, safe place to put them and help them on their pathway to success. So money-wise, we spent like $2.7 billion in the last 6 years.
Where?
Not even where. It's gotten worse, right? I mean, it's not even that there's no results. It's less than zero results, So, I don't know where the accountability is on where those dollars go, but people are asking me, well, where are you going to get the money for this? I know very generous people that they would write the check if they know it's going to go to something good. There's awesome people like the Lucky Duck Foundation folks that I've met with before. they're ready to give large amounts of money if they know it's going to work. And they do give a large amounts of money now. But when I've spoken to them, they may give $1 million to a program, but the value is maybe they get $150,000 worth of good from it, because there's just too many, city government, county government organizations that are in the mix, So if you take a lot out of the way, and those dollars can go just straight to good, it's really, it's not that it's easy, but you'll start seeing success here very quick. I tell people all the time, if our group is, elected to the mayor's office, in 6 months you're not going to recognize this area.
You said your group. Who's the group?
Well, I was talking about myself and the campaign. So
I thought you meant like you had a team.
Oh, well,
you do have a team.
Oh, yeah.
I know you have a team, and then you have relationships with, like you just mentioned, Lucky Duck and other organizations. Like, is that kind of what you meant?
Well, yeah. I just look at it like we're all a team. I mentioned earlier, I'm not a politician, and nor do I want to be. I want to be mayor just because I know that I can, with my team, fix this city. I don't want to do anything after that. I don't have those aspirations to go for anything after it. I want to get everything done. I'd love to get it done in 4 years. Yeah. If it takes us a little longer, then we'll do a second term. But that's the longest you'll see me in an elected position. I'm going to go right back to finishing off my job as a cop. I'll have 9 months left to retire. Yeah. So when I'm done being mayor, you'll see me back out in a patrol car and talking to the people in the tents again. But that's it. I just want to make the city safe for my little kids to grow up here. And right now, obviously it's not. So we got to get it that way. We can't be focused on all these little sideshow type of issues that you'll always see the press conferences at, and when the major things just aren't getting taken care of. Government's just here to protect us, keep us safe. That's the main thing, right? Build some roads and keep the public safe. That's the main things, right? We got our roads suck. We're all buying new rims and getting our shocks fixed all the time. Now we got to walk in the street. We got to worry about getting a twisted ankle on a pothole,
or hit by a car,
or
stepping on a needle, or stepping in urine or feces, or whatever.
Hepatitis is still out there. Everyone's kind of forgotten about it. Yeah. COVID came along, and we still got major cases of hepatitis out there on the street. So the city is not safe. I don't mean just from violent crime. That's bad too, but in all counts, it is not a safe place. So government's failed. All right, and we have a good system of government. We can pick new people, but when we just keep getting offered the same people from the same two parties all the time, it's just this machine of folks that are out of touch, and they haven't been out there and they haven't talked to the people. Right. They haven't sat here in this cool room. Talking to you guys.
And one thing that I'll say too is Larry is running as an independent.
Oh yeah,
which I think is very important, because I think people people like myself are frustrated with both sides. It's not about your party for me personally. It's about what your beliefs are and where you can find that medium and that balance, and people are going to do what you think is important. Obviously, in San Diego, that is the big issue. What would you consider to be the second and third, like the problems in San Diego that you need to focus on?
Well, I think I mentioned it. A lot of the places I'll go, people say that homelessness is 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yeah.
But for me, the 2 and 3 goes into crime and into cost of living, and it's amazing how much they're all intertwined. I know if you really get a chance to peel that back and look at how it all works. We were talking about a friend of ours who has some restaurants here and was getting ready to lay off people. It all has to do with the crime and homelessness issue in front of his business. So, he's barely getting by, barely able to write those checks to his employees. And, the cost of living is already going up. And here's these people that can't get raises, probably going to get laid off here soon. Their cost of living goes way up when you don't get a paycheck coming in. So, if we can make it better for the businesses, we're going to see some people able to make more money. Look how many empty storefronts are right here, just blocks away. Awesome places too, and it's sad. We should have all these places. God, the East Village has just got so much potential. And to see those empty storefronts, and it's all about crime and homelessness. So we can get into some more cost.
You nailed it, dude. It's all intertwined. Yeah. And the reason there's no businesses here is because people don't want to come here, because people don't want to park there. People don't want to walk these streets that are filled with So it's those three.
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Well, with the crime though, let me talk about this for a second. You know, you have all these people that keep saying we need many more cops, right? Because the crime is out of control here, and I don't think that's exactly correct. I think we do need some more cops. We've lost a lot of cops recently over some decisions by City Hall that led to a lot of good folks leaving and going to Boise and Nashville and all these other big cities around the country. Got some really good San Diego police officers. So, you know, our problem is policy. It's not policing. And with the right kind of policy, we can manage with the cops that we have. We definitely need to do some better training. We need some, a better equipment. There's a lot of things the police department needs to reform. But as far as needing a great number of more officers in addition to what we have, if we can tackle the homeless problem, even make it half of what it is right now, I will tell you that downtown, probably 65% of the calls that come in for, hey, police, we need your help with whatever, it has something to do with homeless. It's an overdose. It's a naked guy with a machete running around. It's
we had one out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's area, right? It's,
yeah.
It's excited delirium. It's whatever it might be. Somebody getting robbed out there. So, you take those out of the mix, even half of them, and now you have the police officers able to answer the regular radio calls. That right now we're just not getting to in a timely manner. We get to the active shooters and the those really important high priority 1 and 0 calls, but the rest of them, they might take hours to get to, and that's just unsat for a city like ours. We shouldn't expect that.
With that being said, it's like people, if your mom or one of your kids or something has an issue and they need the PD, or they're going to call the cops because that's what people do, and that's what people really do. If somebody's, mother, parent, elderly, somebody's wife, people, that's what they do.
Yeah.
And if they can't get to it in a timely manner, then people talk shit. They want to complain or just not understand the entire situation, where the entire situation is there really isn't enough time, or there isn't. They're busy doing other stuff, dealing with all these other homeless situations.
Same with the fire engines, the firehouses, emergency services. They're attending to legit health issues with the homeless.
Yeah.
But yet, if you're in your home and you need the emergency services, there's going to be a delay.
Yeah.
So it could be life or death.
And you nailed it, dude. It is extremely intertwined.
Yeah.
And he had a better dude. He's just the three, the haves, the have-nots. No, what'd you say? The have-nots, the will-nots, and the what?
The have-nots, can-nots, and the will-nots.
Yeah, that's great. Because that makes total sense. And I think Johnny nailed it too. Is part of a solution is to stop enabling.
Yeah.
To stop enabling them, because I've talked to different people in the community, and I've talked to cops in the community, and they're frustrated because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was told that somebody could be walking around with I don't remember what the amount was, but it was a big amount of methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, I don't know about fentanyl, in their pocket. As long as it's not cut up or bagged for distribution, it's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, most just drug possession. The voters of California made it a misdemeanor, and I'm not.
Is it an ounce? Was it an ounce?
And I don't know what the exact amount is.
It was a
on each
large
drug,
amount, and then you told me oh yeah, you could walk around with a big old bag full of heroin or methamphetamine or cocaine, and if it's yours and it's for personal use, it's a misdemeanor. It's a parking ticket.
Yeah, they don't pay.
That they don't pay. So. That's part of the problem, and I don't know where the fentanyl law fits into that too. If that's the same level of drug, but then also people just being able to camp out for days and have some of them have money. And they choose this lifestyle. And I've spoke to some of them. They're like, "Nah, I'm chilling. I'm good."
There's some that are that way.
Yeah, I'm okay. I live in my tent. I get my check. I go right here. I eat. I can urinate and defecate wherever I feel like doing it. Or, and at nighttime it just turns into a big party. A lot of people they see And we spoke about this too. You come here during the day, and sometimes it would be quiet. The tents and everything's just kind of chill.
They're partying all night.
Yeah, because they're partying all night. They just wake up, 11 to 5 in the morning. It's on.
Yeah.
And try coming down here. And a lot of these people that are, feel so sorry for everybody. Come check it out. Like come down and check it out. Have a look.
And that's the thing too, is you feel sorry, but you're again painting everyone with the same brush.
Oh,
the
no.
people that are down
Right.
a paycheck or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
yeah, you wanna help them,
and I've
but-
said this before. I'm very sympathetic because I've seen it. I know that there's people out there that are genuinely mentally ill that should not be on the street.
Yeah.
There's veterans
Yeah.
that should not be on the street, and some of them, they don't want anything to do with any sort of an institution. They don't want anybody telling them when to eat, when to sleep, where to sleep, how to be, because they've had it with the military, because they have PTSD or they have whatever issues that they have. And then you have people, drug addicts, alcoholics, people that prey on them, people that it's a whole society.
Yeah.
It's an underground society.
Yeah.
Basically what it is. And it's fixable. I
is.
think it is fixable, but it takes the proper leadership, and it takes people, I believe, like Larry, that have the guts to go and do it, and not just sit, behind a desk in a suit, or do the press conferences with, he's not this dude. You're not gonna see him all perfect all the time. You
No,
know
you're
what I
not.
mean? He'll be out there mixing it up, not just with the homeless people, but with people like ourselves, and when he walked in here, he was cool with everybody. And we're all the same. And he's not, I know he's a good dude. And I met your wife and your kids, and he's a family guy. And his kids are Mexican.
Yep.
Yeah,
Proudly.
he's got your wife's Mexican.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful family.
Thanks.
And like I said before, man, it's like I believe this is the type of leadership that we need. And people, I'll say it again. If you haven't seen the problem, you might seen it, drove by it, walked by it on your way to the Padre games, or, seen it on the news, come smell it.
Yeah.
Come, come walk through it. Come to it every day. And these families, why are these? The one vision that stuck in my head, and it might sound a little bit corny, but there was these two little girls walking down the bridge, and I think I told you about this, all dressed up. They must have been 8, 9 years old, holding hands. They looked like they had just left church or something, but they were real, and they were walking down the middle of the street, and it's just the contrast of all the filth and stuff that was happening around them. I'm like, why is this okay?
Yeah.
Why is this okay? Is it because of where our neighborhood is, or the ethnicity of our neighborhood,
Yeah.
or what is it? Why is this okay, but it's not okay over there, or
Yep.
it's not okay over there, or so those are questions that I've always had, even in regards to the people that work in this building.
I think it has to do also with community involvement, like you getting involved and reaching out to organizations and sending those letters, no matter how they
Hitting
go
walls.
to deaf ears.
Yeah.
But other neighborhoods probably have active people that are actively on their representative or their council member, and push them. And then, our type of people are more modest and humble and,
Yeah.
minor business and don't call the cops, that type of thing. So that may be it as well.
Yeah.
A cultural.
Or they feel that it's going to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah.
But I think it takes, I don't know if Alonzo, we spoke or how it happened, but once I dug, got to know this guy a little bit more, it's and I seen the people that he knows and how he actually conducts what he does. He said something, I don't know if we can talk about this, on you have an idea for the mayor's office, right?
Yeah, which part? I have a lot of ideas about the mayor's office.
The part about where the office will
Oh.
actually be
Yeah.
most of the
Yeah.
time,
Oh, yeah.
for a good
Yeah.
amount of the time. What are you
Yeah.
thinking?
Well, it goes to everybody saying they never get a chance to talk to the mayor. They never get a chance to see the mayor. And when the mayor shows up to something, everyone's like, oh my God, look, there's the mayor.
And he's
They
got
never
a
seen
bunch
him
of,
before.
he's not touchable. You can't
Yeah.
get close to him.
Bodyguards and all that.
Yeah.
Right? I saw him one time going into the baseball game, and he pulls in with his little, limousine Tahoe thing, and goes up the VIP elevator to some box, and
Yeah.
he's up there with the whoever. I don't even know what they do in those boxes. I've never been in one of the boxes.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think you'd want to know.
But why would you? Yeah, maybe, maybe. But you go to a ball game and be around all the people in the seats. And especially in San Diego, everybody's just getting along. And I always, say the cheap seats are the best place to be. It's like everybody's getting along. You don't even know, the people next to you, but you high five them when there's a home run, and people pass their $20 bill for a churro down the aisle, and you don't steal it. You don't take a bite of the churro. Everybody's cool, right?
Yeah.
It's just being out there and being with the people and hearing from everybody. Don't talk so much. Just listen. And I know he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
So, I want to be out with the people. So, one of the first things I want to do is tell them to get rid of that Tahoe, or however many Tahoes they got. Get us a nice big van to put a little office in, and we're driving around all the time, and we hold our meetings in there, and we just go to meetings where you are. I'll come see you. You don't need to come to my office. So we'll I'll put the interns up in my office up there. They can do whatever they're doing to do up there. But we're gonna be out with the community where like nobody even it's just him again showing up. And it's like Larry's showing up to the meeting again. I'm gonna make sure that everybody's seeing me all the time, and talk about the way we start. I'm very confident we're going to win, and it's not any kind of a being arrogant about it or anything. The people, there's this undercurrent that's really strong, and all the people I've been meeting with already. I'm very confident we're going to win. So I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but we're already thinking about some of the things we're doing on day one, and right away we have these command vans. They're these big motor homes with all the communications equipment and all that. We use them for SWAT missions and any other kind of critical incident in the city. So, we have these like mobile offices, and I want to put them out there in tailgate lot on day one, and I'm just going to stay out there. Me and one of the chiefs are going to be out there all the time, and that's the command center right there by Ground Zero, and we're just going to tackle the homeless problem until it's at least half better. So plan on just staying out there. You just see me in jean and t-shirts and boots, and I'll be stepping in it with everybody else, and we're going to get it done, because if you're going to really lead, you can't do it from that office over there. You got to be out there with the troops. So we're gonna be driving around with all the social workers and the cops and the garbage trucks and everything, and we're gonna get these people save some lives out there.
And it's not just to kind of just build on that a little bit. It's not just move them, get out of the way.
No,
it's
fix
like
lives.
fix it, like place them, and like you were saying, it's what'd you call it, the surround services or
wraparound services,
kinda.
Surround surround sound.
Wraparound services, like take care of the people.
I think that's where a lot of conflict comes from between different people or groups. Is they're not familiar with each other, and so the differences scare them, and so they won't approach them, and then it's you're managing from afar without knowing what the actual group needs.
You got to be out there and talk to them. So I would love to there's not, it's just a few thousand people. You can get out there and shake the hand of a few thousand homeless people and talk to each one of them, and encourage them to change their life. Some of them don't want to, but just get out there to have that conversation and offer them the services to change their life. If they don't want it, we'll just keep pushing it. I mean, there's some ramifications. You're going to have to take this. You cannot just stay out there and do that lifestyle anymore. So some of the politicians, I saw a post a few days ago, and it was all these elected officials who were standing there saying, you can't, arrest your way out of this. And I'm sure they're referring to arresting homeless people, and I don't want to do that. But we can arrest some people out there. That criminal element that's amongst them, that's hiding there, that's selling the fentanyl, that's stealing stuff out of our cars and our houses, to pay for go out there and arrest those guys. That pretty much helps us a lot. It really improves the situation out here. So. And we talk a lot about our neighborhood, right? Because we're right here. I don't live that far from here either, but it's everywhere. It's just not as bad everywhere as it is here. But I'll go to neighborhoods where they literally know all the homeless people. There's like 4 or 5 people, and they, oh my God, our numbers have doubled. We went from 3 to 6. They don't realize that the thousands that are down here, but it's a big deal to them still. And it's just that it's showing that the movement of the growth is going into these other neighborhoods, and it kind of gets what am I trying to say? The number is hard to capture by the city and the people that do the counting. Alonzo's people do a great job. I love clean and safe.
Yep.
But a thing, this isn't a complaint about it. They have a system where they just go down certain streets at a certain time, once a month to do these counts, these head counts. And those streets haven't changed in a long time. So if they've migrated to another area, it'll appear like the number's gone down. So you'll hear things that, oh yeah, homeless has gone down again this month. Well, no, it just on those streets it went down. Because now I'm hearing from Bankers Hill or the Park or the Hillcrest. Oh, our numbers have increased, but that's not part of the head count.
Was that real what you just said? So they only survey certain streets. Yeah. So if the numbers have decreased on that certain street, then they'll say homelessness has went down. Yeah. So if they came to these 3 bridges here and they went for a count, they'll be like,
well, they have a really big sampling of downtown, but it's the same area. So then, just to be scientific about it, they needed to be, always go to the same areas, right? And do the same time of day, and so I think they do it in the wee hours of the morning. Most of them are sleeping maybe, and they can do it that way. But what most people don't think or don't understand is they don't look at faces and count 1, 2, 3. If they see a tent, certain size tent will be counted as 2.7 people, or 1.6, or they have this formula. So they're going around not just necessarily seeing heads, to do a head count. They do it based on the tents, or it could be some garbage underneath a blanket, but they'll count it as it looks kind of like a person. It's in the dark. So they'll come up with numbers like that. It's a pretty good system, if everybody stayed in those same streets. Yeah. But they move. And like you said, you go out to Commercial Street right now, or even go to 17th right now. There's nobody on 17th right now.
And that's rare. What I have been seeing, I seen one yesterday, I'll call them zombies. Yeah. Like I'm seeing this new, I guess it's fentanyl. Yeah. And I'm seeing like people, even kids or people that are just.
I've seen a YouTube video. A YouTuber went to Philadelphia. There's an area called Kensington, and it's called Zombie City. Yeah. Basically, it's a mix between fentanyl and horse tranquilizer. Yeah. And they're literally just standing, hunched over, like in the middle of the sidewalk. It's really like, ridiculous.
I'm starting to see some of that here too. Like I seen some stuff yesterday that I was like, what is that guy on? Yeah. Like just it's sad, and these are people's brothers, sisters, babies at one point, or just they're human beings, and the thing is, if they want help, this is not to get wave the flag, but this is the United States of America. Yeah. Like there should be help for these people. Like I've traveled a lot. I've been to all over different parts of the world. And it's not this bad. No. Like there's poverty, but you don't really see the drug abuse. You don't see the homelessness. And if you do, it's not this bad. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about San Diego. You could go to parts of Orange County, LA, San Francisco, like the state of California, I believe is probably the worst in the country, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. So, we're out there, talking a lot of shit but our people are struggling, and there's very real struggles on these streets that are not being taken care of or prioritized. And I think it's because of, and this is my personal opinion, I think it's obviously the administration, like the government, and there's money grabs. Mm-hmm. There's money in it. There's a lot of money. You were saying that was in the B with the billions, right? Yeah. Where, like, if this is the worst of San Diego, what the third largest city maybe in the state of California?
I think we're number 2.
Is San Francisco bigger than San Diego?
We're bigger.
Okay, so number 2. So where's the accountability? Where'd that money go? Yeah. Like where is it? And from what we were seeing and experiencing, and then here's Larry talking about he's got to go find, or he has some people, private money. Some people that are willing to contribute to either charitable organizations or just go ahead and build these things themselves.
Well, it's easy to spend other people's money, If you didn't have to earn it, it's easy.
Or hide it.
Or hide other people's money. But at the end of the day, if you're getting the taxpayers' dollars, there should be, like for me, if my mom gave me some money to go to the store and grab some milk, that was a big responsibility. I got my mom's money. I'm not stealing some money from my mom. Yeah. But
or where's the change? Where's my change?
Exactly. Yeah. She used to do that all the time. Yeah. But the thing with other folks though is it's like a drunk sailor on payday, right?
Yeah.
Coming into town and
In Manila.
Yeah.
it's other people's money. It's easy to spend it, and especially if you got some people that are going to make out on the other end of it that you're buying the land from, or the builders you're friends with and whatnot. So I mean, a lot of it is just being a good steward with the people's money, and it all comes back to who do you work for, and there's got to be that understanding that you are the people's employee. They hired you for a job. They chose you. We are all equals. We're here in America. We are all equals. We're all have the same rights as each other. And we fought a war, to get rid of the king. And here we are now. We get to pick our own leader. And so, that's a huge responsibility that you're going to be the one that says, okay, I'll be the leader this time. And when you do that, man, that's a lot of bricks on your shoulder. Big load of responsibility to help take care of your fellow people. If you're in there and you're blowing that money, that much money on homeless, and it's even gotten worse, there needs to be an accountability for that. Somebody's got to go back and look at those books and see where that money, what are the results of it. And I'm personally tired of hearing people talk about certain politicians, they're trying hard. And man, he tries so hard. He's working so hard. You have no idea behind the scenes how hard he's working. And it's like, where's the results? All the businesses you got here in this building, I know you don't care how hard they're trying, right?
Yeah.
They gotta deliver, whether it's the designing the shirts or doing the tattoos or putting the skateboard together, whatever it is. You got to, it doesn't matter how hard he tried. It's the results.
The results.
Yeah. So we're not getting the results here. We just got a lot of people that keep saying they're trying so hard, and I'm sorry, but we're gonna have to give that job to somebody else. So I'm gonna be trying out for that job. And when I've got the people's money, it's the people's money, and I got to be a good steward of it, So we're going to spend it wisely. And when there are people that want to put that private check into it, well, by all means, we'll take that.
Yeah.
We'll do some savings, and that goes all the way back to those three issues I talked about: the cost of living, right? Taxes are huge. A lot of fees, a lot of government taking their share out of it. They better be spending that money right. Yeah. They better be showing some progress in this state. They talk about, people want to call themselves progressives. We're not seeing a lot of progress in San Diego.
Right.
So, when I win, there is going to be a lot of progress.
We saw digression. We've seen just things move backwards.
Yeah.
And it's sad because this was a beautiful neighborhood where we're at.
Yeah.
When I look out the window and the streets are clean, I got the view of downtown, the buildings, it's go out in the middle of the street, you can see the Coronado Bridge. It's a beautiful neighborhood, but it was gone. It was just, and I'm not just talking about me here or our corner, but this whole neighborhood and people up the street and right here in Sherman Heights and people in the other parts of the East Village. It's sad, it's frustrating, but and I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say Larry Turner is that guy, man. He's a true leader. I can see it. You can hear it. You can see it. He's got the experience. I think he has the what it takes to be a leader. And he is a leader. But I think it's what the city needs, and beyond just the homeless issue. I think, with the people that have his back, if there's questions, he's that guy that asks. If he can't handle it and it has questions, he has the network that'll help him handle it. You know what I mean? I think he knows the right people that can help him with a lot of different sorts of situations. And what makes me happy is that he's here with us. We're right here. We're in the East Village. We're at the lower left. We're like a cultural hub. Nobody from the government ever been in this building. You know what I mean?
And it's a cool building.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. You know what I mean?
Place.
I've reached out to so many people, and because of whatever their misconception or whoever we might be, they don't come and visit us, or they're not asking questions. There's been a lot of artists. Some of the greatest artists probably walking the earth right now have been in this building. Not just graphic and that side of art, but musicians and people of that. But to have, like I said, I've reached out all over the place, and this is the only dude that walked in the door, and he took our invitation to come and do the podcast.
I'm honored.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But I think I I seen the results of what he's I'm gonna say help do because he won't take, you know, he can't take the credit, but it didn't happen until basically he talked to me straight. He goes, we're gonna do our best. I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna try to make this happen. Communicate with me. He gave Isaac his personal number. He gave me his business and personal number. We both have it. Herman too. Like, you guys see something, hit me. Like, let me know what's going on. Let me know if something's and up to now, you know, it's really cool. And I guess the dream and the goal would be to see the entire city, what happened in these couple blocks, happen all over.
That'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's possible, but I guess the goal is not to scramble people and just push them into other areas. And now you got to go here, now you got to go there, and keep them like what's it called? Hide the whatever. But to actually accommodate them and bring them back into society and train them and get them the health that they need, the medical help that they need, or the mental help that they need, or get them a job, or, you know, these little kids that are out there, get them a home. And then going back to like what I said earlier, it's like, really, we don't have the money. This is California. This is, you know,
richest place in the history of the world.
Yeah. Supposed to be. And how much are we paying here for taxes and real estate and all these things that we have going on right here, and we can't take care of our people? Like but you know, there's not many people that I've encountered or that we've encountered that have, I think, what Larry has and he brings to the table. So, but
it's very kind of you. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. It's what I've seen and what I feel is where you're at. And I think, and not just that, like I went to, it was after a baseball game, I went to when you announced that you were a candidate for mayor, and the people that were there and the business owners that were there, and you know, just people that have his back. It wasn't foo-foo. It wasn't like, it was right after Padre game. A lot of people showed up in Padre t-shirts and jerseys, and it felt street level. It felt real. But I'm sure he also has a responsibility, responsibility and a reason he has to, you know, rub shoulders with the guys in the financial district, and he has to go and talk to, you know, all these large business owners in San Diego, and he's definitely has to deal with the big R and the big D, you know, like the Democrats and the Republicans, and deal with all that. So there's that political part of it that's probably not the real fun part of it, you know, but this is probably the fun part, huh?
This is the fun. This has been the best part of the whole thing.
But yeah, man. So we're gonna wrap this up.
right.
In closing, what do you have to say, like, just for yourself or for your, you know, to people who are listening?
Sure. Well, yeah, thanks for this opportunity. And this is just a grassroots movement, you know, and you'll hear people say that all the time, and I always did too. And you know, it's like AstroTurf. It's like just fake grass. But this is real. I mean, I don't have pros on my staff. I keep getting big donors that they'll ask me all the time, we want to make sure you're, quote unquote, a serious candidate. I said, well, hell yeah, I'm serious. What are you talking about? But to them, serious is I got to hire their fundraisers and their advisors. And, you know,
push their agenda.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I'm not doing that. And what I tell people is you're going to vote for Larry, or you're going to vote for, you know, four more years of this. And I'm going to be me, and I'm going to be honest and straight up with you. And, you know, we might disagree on a couple of things, but, you know, 99% of it I think we agree on what needs to get done with this city. And I can promise you it's going to be better. It's going to be a lot better and fast. And we're going to not just help save these people's lives, we're going to make all our lives better. You know, our kids are going to be safer. The playgrounds will be safer, all that. Schools will be safer. We're going to have a much better police department than what we have now. I got a really good plan for that. So,
yeah, I've seen there was some issues down there lately.
Yeah. I mean, not to get into it, but the police department has some really good changes going to happen when I win. So I really want to have a reset button with the city and the police department to rebuild the relationship. And I think I've got some good plans to do it after talking to some good people in the different communities. But you know, back to the city, it's a grassroots movement. It's a big tent right now of San Diegans that are going to be voting for me. And you know, we all see what needs to get done. and that's what I'm all about, is fixing those things. So there's still a few people that say I'm only going to vote for a Democrat, I'm only going to vote for a Republican, and that's kind of sad that we can't see past, some party. It's like being some fan of a football team, and you're only rooting for that team, even if they're not doing well. This is time to put that aside and just be a San Diegan, and like I talked about the cheap seats at the baseball game. That's what we all got to think about, is when we're in there and that walk-off home run by Manny, and you give a hug to that stranger sitting next to you, right? Everybody's cheering, everybody's trying to do the wave together, as one, and nobody cares that where you came from, what language you speak, what religion, how much money you make, who you want to marry. We're just all San Diegans. So that's what I really got to convince people of, is get out of that mindset of party and let's fix our city. And I think we can do it. And I got a great partner in Cynthia, who you met. And I know she wanted to be here today, but unfortunately she can't. But she brings a lot to the table too. She's my favorite, best advisor, and her background and where she came from, and educating me on all that too. It's just really helped me become a better man, and she helps me, just keep everything squared away in life and prioritize right. So it's her and the kids, and fixing the city. That's the most important things to me right now.
Badass. Yeah.
One important question: how are you going to fix the Padres?
Well, some things are outside of my control.
Yeah. This goes back generations in my family, so we're used to.
Hey, we got a
Padres
soccer
losing.
team coming too.
Oh yeah,
So we need
tonight
to
or tomorrow?
No, tonight I think
Tonight
they
at 6.
announced.
Yeah.
I seen a leaked logo.
did you?
I don't know how real it was, but
we should be having an NFL team, an NBA team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no reason our city doesn't.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have all that.
That's just judging by what the Padres are able to do. Like, just don't even get me started. Like the Chargers and but thank you, man. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you. And we'll be doing helping you with some events and doing some things, and
Looking forward to it.
we'll spread the word. And thank you for being here. Johnny,
look at Turner24, TURNER24.com. It's got the links to everything about.
do you
the
have
campaign.
you have an Instagram?
All of that's linked on there. Yeah.
Okay.
So just if you go Turner24, all the links to Twitter and everything are on there.
Okay, so it's go to turner24.com.
That's it.
And there's the links, and I'm sure he's going to be doing a lot more podcasts and interviews on the news and all kinds of cool stuff. But this is the man. So
Thank you.
thank you, Johnny. Be good.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for
Yeah,
being
and-
here. I enjoy this stuff. I enjoy, civics and history and military and all that stuff. It's interesting to me because it's a culmination of where we're at today.
Yeah.
Like everything that happened and the decisions that we make today are going to affect our future, including our kids. So it's
a great
real
way to think
important
about
for everyone to get involved. Everyone register to vote. Everyone take the time to go out to the polls and vote. And put your opinion in. You know, mark the ballot box with who you think will do a better job and who you have belief in. And Larry looks like the guy.
Yeah, pay attention.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Bobby Ruiz, a.k.a. Bobby Tribal, 17th and Island, Johnny Be Good, Lower Left Podcast. We out. You almost said it.